But look, what did it take for us to get to the point of an apology? We had to threaten a lawsuit, Jesse. And by the way, we're still entertaining it. We're talking to some of the best lawyers out there that are experts in this. And as you know, these things can be very complicated. There's a lot of facts and circumstances around it. But we're not going to let this go, because you should not be able to smear 5,000 high school and college kids and then just be able to walk away with it. And the reason they felt they needed to do that, Jesse, is because if they told their audience the truth, that when gas is the most expensive it's been, flights are super expensive, that 5,000 kids decided to spend a weekend in summer traveling across the country to go hear from conservative speakers, maybe the audience of The View would think twice about all of their ideas. That's why they felt so compelled to try to smear our wonderful summit this last weekend.
Yeah, maybe you should get the lawyer that worked on that Covington Catholic school case. What was that, a $200 million settlement? I think, Charlie, you could use the money and your students.
Charlie Kirk just dropped a $100 million legal bomb on The View. And before the dust could settle, Megyn Kelly stormed in like a solo truth-teller with a flamethrower of sass. This isn't just a case, it's a headline-grabbing showdown with popcorn on standby. Megyn's take was so sharp it could have used hazard lights. What exactly did she say that made Whoopi blink like she missed the cue card? And why does Joy look like she just sniffed a courtroom memo? Strap in. This isn't daytime TV, it's a media brawl in high heels.
Say this, what do you call it, this Turning Point conference with all the smoke? What are they, smoking something down there? Or it's like, whatever. Anyway, they were out there, their were in the front of out there in front of the conference with anti-Semitic slurs.
Whoa, the drama. Charlie Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, threatened to sue The View. And let me tell you, the nonsense that ensued is...
A $100 million lawsuit from Kirk is many things: strategic, bold, and yes, oddly entertaining. Because nothing says serious damage like rolling in with a squad of lawyers while streaming your side to millions. It's like filing claims with spotlight flair. The lawsuit oozes with courtroom theatrics and headline-ready tension, but the real star of the moment isn't tucked in the legal language. The spotlight is on someone who didn't even sign the documents.
Kirk took issue with this depiction of his organization. Kirk maintains that Turning Point USA is not affiliated with anti-Semitism or white supremacist. In a strongly worded tweet, the 28-year-old stated, "Talking to lawyers, many think we have a strong case. You cannot smear minors as Nazis and get away with it. It impacts them for the rest of their life. Hashtag sue the..."
Enter Megyn Kelly, standing just outside the legal spotlight, tossing sharp one-liners into the spotlight like she's hosting a roast instead of watching a courtroom drama unfold. This isn't just another media clash, this is Shakespeare with subpoenas. And Megyn? She's not part of the cast. She's the off-script commentator crashing the scene with a grin and a vocabulary full of fire.
Disgusting, gross elitism and her complete out-of-touch nature with respect to the rest of the world. Sunny Hostin goes on The View and decides now would be a great time to dump all over the so-called uneducated.
What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump. Uneducated white women, is my understanding. You have Latino men, actually, voting more for him. And you have, and black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice president.
Right. Just because you didn't go to college doesn't mean you're stupid, and it doesn't mean that you don't have wisdom. You can go to college and get a bunch of irrelevant facts about how men can allegedly give birth or whatever.
Megyn doesn't just comment, she analyzes. She steps straight into the storyline, red pen ready, editing the plot while the actors are still mid-scene. She's not aiming for neutrality. This time, she's clearly chosen a side, and she's backing Kirk, not because she sees him as a symbol of anything big, but because his lawsuit is the kind of dramatic spectacle that was made for headlines. And Megyn loves a performance, especially when it stars The View tripping over their own message in front of everyone.
Hot mess that they air in the mornings, called The View, had to issue not one, not two, not three, but 4 corrections, legal corrections. 4 legal notes.
You let them in.
President, open your
You
mouth.
let them in and you knew what they were.
Right.
So you are complicit. Welcome back. You know, in Monday's conversation about Turning Point USA, I put the young people at the conference in the same category as the protesters outside. And I don't like it when people make assumptions about me And it's not any better when I make assumptions about other people, which I did. So, my bad. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So,
Not to mention what they did at that debate, where once again, they tried to fact check only one side, and then when their fact checks got fact checked, they cowered. They cowered in fear. I mean, this is...
No, Megyn doesn't have a Charlie Kirk fan club sticker on her laptop. She's not saving his photo as her screensaver. What she's drawn to is the drama, and this $100 million move against The View. It's the Super Bowl of media chaos. Kirk didn't go after a small blog. He didn't criticize a college article. He challenged a major midday show known for opinion-driven moments. This isn't just a lawsuit, it's a full-scale show. The man probably nods to the Constitution like it gives him advice. He thrives on high-stakes debate. And when The View threw shade his way, he didn't just respond. He planned a legal performance piece.
Charlie Kirk's the founder and CEO of Turning Point USA and the author of the new book, The College Scam. So, Charlie, do you accept The View's apology?
I mean, regardless of whether or not I accept it, the question is, do our students accept it? That's really what's at heart here. They went after our 5,000 students at our event there of high school and college kids. And look, I get attacked all the time. People say false things. I'm a public figure. But when you go after 16 and 17-year-olds that travel from across the country that then have to live for the rest of their life with a shadow over them because someone at ABC says that they might be linked to neo-Nazis.
Let's be clear, this isn't about deep values, balanced dialogue, or big-picture ideas. It's about impact. It's about turning daytime talk into headline theater. Charlie's not just looking for a ruling, he's setting up a media storm. He's turning the courtroom into a spotlight. And who better to narrate this wild spiral than Megyn Kelly? This time, she's not off to the side. She's front and center, holding a mic in one hand and the case file in the other, turning each update into primetime drama. If this were a Broadway show, she'd already be sketching out her award speech. While The View checks their scripts and PR memos, Megyn walks in like the lead in Top Gun. Lawsuit edition, aviators optional.
Trump will be sworn in as the 47th president of the United States, yay, on January 20th of this month. Not everyone's happy about it, and many people would like us to be more focused on the insurrection that he personally unleashed. If you ask them, as we discussed earlier, they think it's as bad as like the Holocaust, and you don't have to take my word for it. Here is Sunny Hostin of
January
The View
6th was an
today.
atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, you know, like World War II, things that happened, you know, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery.
Yeah, the January 6th is right up there next to the Holocaust.
Forget polite arguments and careful commentary. This isn't some polished political series. There are no dramatic speeches or heartfelt conclusions interrupted by skincare commercials. Charlie and Megyn are soaring high, dropping sharp commentary without ever slowing down. And The View? They've gone silent, stuck in their own echo chamber while the lawsuit shakes their set, tips over Whoopi's cup, and chips away at their public image. Kirk didn't just file a complaint. He stepped into their discussion zone with bold statements in one hand and snacks in the other. And Megyn? She's not calling for calm. She's stoking the moment, grinning with receipts in hand. Her support isn't subtle. It's a full-on eye roll aimed directly at their entire style. The View expected a rebuttal. They got a whole performance, and one they didn't rehearse for.
Disgusting. She's Anna Navarro in your wildest imagination. You could never solo host a show. You will only ever make it as part of an ensemble, and you could never hope to achieve the success that Tucker Carlson has. So you can sit in your little cheap seats all day long and enjoy your little negative henpecking, but your careers are going nowhere, and Tucker is about to dominate in whatever space
When Kirk revealed the lawsuit, Megyn didn't flinch. She grinned, got ready, and turned up the heat. She's not here to mourn the pause in daytime discussions. She's here to stir the pot and keep the spotlight going. She didn't check in with Kirk, didn't need a team effort. All she needed was a legal headline and a perfect chance to speak her mind. To her, The View isn't must-see TV. It's a mix of knowing glances and quick takes wrapped in high-energy delivery. And now the moment of reckoning is here. Megyn's version of accountability isn't about legal wins. It's about calling it out loud with a crowd tuned in. And that audience, they're loving every minute of it.
This little lecture from, forgive me, those bitches over at The View.
I'm a Christian girl. When something like this happens to you, like this assassination attempt, and you say something like God was watching me, that is a very unchristian thing to say because it's very narcissistic. Well, God was watching me and not watching them. There's something very disturbing.
Not what he said.
I should have pulled the plug on that mic yesterday.
That's obnoxious. I don't know what church she goes to. That is how people of faith talk, and the intimation is never, he was looking out for me, but not those monsters.
Megyn understands how media moves. The View tosses out sharp takes like confetti, and Kirk caught one right in the headlines. Now he's sending the bill like he's itemizing emotional stress. And Megyn, she's not just clapping, she's conducting the orchestra. To her, this moment has been a long time coming. She's spent years watching The View lean on catchy phrases and commercial cuts, and now that someone finally responded, she's ready with extra commentary for the show. She doesn't need a guest invite. She doesn't need a call from Charlie. All she needed was a court document, a trending topic, and a good excuse to let the shark humor fly. Whether the case wins or not isn't the issue. The moment it took off online, the message was clear. You don't challenge The View to win in court. You challenge them to highlight the overreach, to spotlight the irony. Megyn knows the playbook. She's the voiceover to their unraveling, and she's not holding back.
More of it from Anna Navarro on The View. Listen to this person.
The Hunter Biden story, the scandal, the this, the that, it's also the story of a father's love. And Joe Biden has never and will never give up on his son Hunter, and will never treat him lesser than. And so he is a father first. Take it or leave it.
Yes, serving on Ukrainian natural gas boards, smoking with prostitutes and throwing guns into school zones. There, but for the grace of God, go I. Are you kidding me? But look at he shows up at a
To Charlie, it's a political statement. To Megyn, it's a live review. Together, they've turned The View into the center of a nationwide spotlight. This isn't just about who's right. It's about breaking the idea that high-volume opinions from a morning couch equal absolute truth. Kirk and Megyn don't need to team up, they're aligned by tone alone. Their tools are wit and timing, and they've created something unforgettable. The View hasn't offered a strong response, just quiet stares and slow sips. No firm rebuttal, no press tours. Just a quiet shift in energy, realizing maybe their stage isn't untouchable. Maybe the image wasn't as solid as they thought. And Megyn? She's still commenting, still delivering jabs from the sidelines like a critic reviewing an off-script stage play. This isn't about who gets a verdict. It's about who shapes the moment. And right now, Kirk and Kelly are co-directing a bold media masterclass titled How to Question a Talk Show and Own the Conversation.
Disgusting, gross elitism and her complete out-of-touch nature with respect to the rest of the world. Sunny Hostin goes on The View and decides now would be a great time to dump all over the so-called uneducated.
What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump. Uneducated white women, is my understanding. You have Latino men, actually, voting more for him. And you have, and black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice president.
Right. Just because you didn't go to college doesn't mean you're stupid, and it doesn't mean that you don't have wisdom. You can go to college and get a bunch of irrelevant facts about how men can allegedly give birth or whatever.
Megyn doesn't just comment, she analyzes. She steps straight into the storyline, red pen ready, editing the plot while the actors are still mid-scene. She's not aiming for neutrality. This time, she's clearly chosen a side, and she's backing Kirk, not because she sees him as a symbol of anything big, but because his lawsuit is the kind of dramatic spectacle that was made for headlines. And Megyn loves a performance, especially when it stars The View tripping over their own message in front of everyone.
Say this, what do you call it? This Turning Point conference with all the smoke? What are they, smoking something down there? Or it's like, whatever. Anyway, they were out there, the Nazis were in the front of out there in front of the conference with anti-Semitic slurs.
Whoa, the drama. Charlie Kirk's organization, Turning Point USA, threatened to sue The View. And let me tell you, the nonsense that ensued is...
A $100 million lawsuit from Kirk is many things: strategic, bold, and yes, oddly entertaining. Because nothing says serious damage like rolling in with a squad of lawyers while streaming your side to millions. It's like filing claims with spotlight flair. The lawsuit oozes with courtroom theatrics and headline-ready tension, but the real star of the moment isn't tucked in the legal language. The spotlight is on someone who didn't